All right, hello, my name is Vanessa Allen. I'm the Family Engagement Coordinator for the Early Support for Infants and Toddlers team. And I am here today with Leslie and Brian and son Cooper. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, my name is Leslie, and we're calling in from Puyallup in Pierce County. I am a white female in her 30s with dark brown hair, dark blonde hair, I suppose, pulled back in a ponytail, with a peach hoodie on. And I have Cooper here. He's our almost 3-year-old son, and he's got some light blonde hair. He's wearing his Baja on his gold band, and he's wearing a hoodie with a smiley faces on it.
I'm Brian. I am in my mid-30s, male, with short buzzed hair and a short beard and a blue plaid button-up shirt.
Thank you, guys. Can you guys talk a little bit about the services you guys received during birth to 3 and how it's been during the pandemic, before, during, and how you guys are feeling now?
Yeah. Well, we first got introduced to birth to 3 services when Cooper was born in April of 2019, and he was born with microtia on his right side. So that right ear didn't fully form. We didn't know it was coming. It was a surprise when he was born. And so when he went through his hearing tests at the hospital, obviously he didn't pass on his right side. So they referred us to an audiologist. And when we went in there, she told us about some different resources that we might have access to, including some birth to 3 services to kind of help him with his language, with his speech, making sure that he was able to kind of stay on track with that. And so that's how we first got hooked up with our agency, through the birth to 3, right? Mm-hmm. We were able to meet with them, and we started that in fall of 2019. We were able to start with in-person. So our provider came to our house. We did once a month. And so our goal really with Cooper was to focus on language acquisition, which he's got plenty of. And so that was kind of our goal. So we met once a month with her. She came into our house, focused on, in those early days, like sounds, object recognition. She gave us a lot of coaching on just like vocabulary, just to expose him to vocabulary, and was able to coach us on different ways to do that. A lot of it was kind of like common sense stuff, a little bit. We're both teachers, but it was just like giving us ideas of when you're in the kitchen, you can be narrating what you're doing, and giving us ways in our everyday life to kind of incorporate that. Anything else about in-person? We did that for a few months. So it was nice. It was nice to meet her in person, to see her, have her meet Cooper and be able to interact that way, especially at such a young age. And for us to kind of be able to see her example with him back and forth, and how she might do some different exercises. But then, like everything else, in spring of 2020, we went virtual. We stayed with once a month, and we did Zoom and Google Meets, and we actually really liked it. It worked out really well for our family. We liked the flexibility that it provided us. There were a couple times where something last minute came in and we couldn't do it, or there was once where she couldn't. And it's just the fact that she's not coming to our house, like, provided us that little bit of flexibility. We were able to quickly communicate with her and, oh yeah, we can move it to this time. And since it was virtual, that made it nice. What about virtual?
Of the positive?
Yeah.
I think, I think it just also made it so that way, for Cooper didn't have this new person coming into the room or into the house. So it wasn't like he gets shy initially with people. So we didn't have to worry about that as much. They're just on a device. So it wasn't as big of transition to having that time, and he could still kind of be more of his normal self during the time that they were observed.
Yeah, I think she really got to kind of like peek in on him in his environment. And for us, especially during those, as he got older, it was nice that she could just watch how he plays, watch how we interact with him, and then give us some coaching, because that's ultimately what we want. Like, we need to be able to do it on our own and provide these strategies that she's very well versed in. But I think just having her on the device she was able to kind of see that a little bit better and see us in kind of our natural environment with him. We were both usually around for our meetings. And so we were able to have one of us with a phone kind of follow him, because Cooper's very active. So we bounced from room to room to room, and he was always very excited to like show our provider like the new thing for that day. And, oh, I want to go show you this thing in my room. So we run with the phone in there. And so I don't know, I just think she got more of a kind of a taste of what our life is like here, and got to kind of speak to that. So we're kind of wrapping up. I mean, he turns 3 in a couple weeks. And so we spent these last couple weeks kind of preparing, what does this look like transitioning out? And she's become very familiar with like where he goes to daycare, where he's going to go to preschool, and has been able to kind of help us prepare for that transition. Cooper's done so well with her and with this program. And I don't know, I think it's benefited him greatly. We're really thankful for it.
That's good. That's great to hear. Is there anything else like you would want to add, or any advice that you would like to give agencies or providers?
I think the biggest thing for us, our provider and our agency were really good about becoming like part of our team. They come with so much knowledge, and they're able to advocate for things. But I feel like she became part of our team, because ultimately it's our family decision. It's our family dynamic. We're making decisions about his schooling. And I think making sure that you're part of that team, and how you share your advocacy and how you share your knowledge. And I felt very comfortable with our agency and with our provider. And I feel like going forward into his schooling, I know, what to look for and what to advocate for and how to do that. And so, yeah, and with the virtual, doing it on the phone, a practical tip was really helpful, because again, he was bopping all over the place. And so it was easy to move. And so a practical tip for the virtual, but.
Yeah, we tried with computer. It didn't really work, because you were constantly picking this big thing up to move around and do it. I think the other thing is they come in with so much knowledge that sometimes you kind of have to remember that you're talking to people who aren't used to dealing with these types of things all the time. So for Cooper, it was a lot of speech or hearing, and the terminology sometimes, oh, well, this was a blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Strategy names.
Yeah. So kind of remembering we don't spend as much time doing those types of things. It's helpful to learn those, but to remember that kind of to bring things down a little bit for those of us that aren't doing that every day in our everyday lives.
All right. Well, thank you both for your guys' time, and happy to meet you, Cooper.
Say bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.